Thank you all for coming. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you all. Can you just line that up, please? Step back further, forward. You good?
Oh, yeah, you're good. I thought you were telling me to step back.
Should I step forward?
No, you're good right there.
Good? Okay.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good.
Alright. Okay. Alright. Thank you again. Okay. Close your eyes. Do it. Close your eyes and imagine a world where everyone around you thought negatively about everything around them. Not only did they have negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions towards everything around them, but they also thought that way about you and everyone else. Don't open your eyes yet. Now imagine a world where everyone thought positively about everything around them, including you and everyone else. Which world do you think was happier? Which world was better? Where would you go back to? Open your eyes. So it's clear for us, it's clear to us that the positive world was a happier and better place to go. And for me personally, I'd like to go back to that one. When a person is positive about everything around them, life for that individual is happier. When an entire community or even the world is positive about everything, they're happier as a society. As a current student of psychology, or the study of human behavior, I will tell you why this is so, by sharing with you a short story and example of what positive thinking can do to a person, the definition of positive thinking, and the benefits it can have on a person's individual life and on society. I will broaden your perspective so that you too can have a happier life. Let us first begin with a story originally told by Barbara L. Fredrickson in her article entitled The Value of Positive Emotions. Back in the 1930s, a few Catholic nuns were asked to give a life sketch of their own lives. These essays were originally used to assess their career paths, but soon after they were written, they were forgotten about and kind of buried. But after more than 60 years later, these essays were used in a study about aging by 3 psychologists. These psychologists read and rated each paper on positive emotional content. For example, those authors that wrote more about the positive things in life, like moments of happiness, love, interest, and hope, had a higher rating than those that only wrote about negative things in their lives. These psychologists found that those nuns that scored higher lived up to 10 years longer than those that scored lower. This gain in life expectancy is considerably larger than the gain achieved by those who quit smoking, said Barbara Fredrickson. That's a huge effect on the life of a person to have an entire decade added to their life. To better understand the effect that positive thinking can have on our lives, we must first understand what it means to be a positive thinker. A quote by Yelena Hopper depicts what positive thinking encompasses. She said that it is focusing on the bright side of the problem. A positive thinker stresses on achieving health, happiness, and success. He knows where his strength lies, and he is capable of utilizing his strengths properly. When in problem, he knows that he can overcome it successfully. When we have this kind of mindset, we don't simply just think nice things of others, but we also think positively about ourselves. We also look at the bright side of all situations, no matter the circumstance. In an article by Darshan Goswami, who has a master's in science, he wrote that scientific research has proved that positive thinking is a skill that can be learned to create happiness, and that happiness is the cause of positive outcomes in life, not the result. For me, when I read this quote, it kind of makes me reflect on how many times I could have been happy and created joyful situations out of the path of life, instead of letting myself or letting the day decide what happened to me or my attitude about that day. One of my favorite quotes that I found on Goodreads.com is by Eckhart Tolle. He said, "The primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts about it." Oftentimes when negative occurrences happen in our lives, we tend to be upset. If we were to remember that our own thoughts are what causes our unhappiness, then we would likely recall that we are the ones causing our unhappiness. If we would simply remember this and try our best to always think positively about those things around us and about the situation we're in, we would be positive about, we would not be so upset all the time, and we would better understand how to be happier. Instead, we would be positive about it and make the best out of everything that life gives us. But how would this skill of positive thinking benefit us on a personal level? After reading that article by Darshan Goswami, I learned that our minds control our body. If we understand and practice control, we can program our minds to achieve what we desire. You see, when a person learns how to direct their thinking towards positive things instead of negative things, they are able to change the way they behave in different situations. Another benefit from this is that if we were able to control our thoughts and funnel them into positive thinking, we can more easily cope with everything that happens in our lives. We can also see all the opportunities that lie around us, waiting for us to notice and take advantage. Darshan Goswami said, "There's no greater joy than a healthy, positive life." Goswami goes on to say that by inheriting a positive way of thinking in our lives, we will create constructive changes in us and make us happier, brighter, and more successful. When we become happier, brighter, and more successful people, we will be in a better position to not only have a better attitude, but also to have a higher level of self-esteem. When we have a higher self-esteem, we are more likely to feel confident with ourselves and what we can accomplish. Of course, when we have more confidence, or when we are more confident with our skills and our abilities, we will be able to better perform tasks and projects, making us become more successful in all that we do. On another note, when we are more positive with ourselves, we will be in a better position to help those around us. It is in our nature, you see, to share the goodness that we have with others. When we feel good about ourselves because of our positive thinking, we will want to share those good feelings with those around us who may be sad or having a hard time. Rema Sasson, a teacher of self-improvement and positive thinking, explained that even just being a positive example to those around us can be contagious. When we make it a habit to share the goodness that we have, we will be more likely to help those in need and perform acts of service for others. This brings me to my last point. If an entire society like the one that we had imagined earlier were to be positive about everything and everyone around them, do you think that society would be a happier place? I think it would be. In a society like this, there would be fewer negative judgments passed by members of that community, resulting in better cooperation between different parties that may not agree. With more people getting along, that population would be more confident in creating and inventing new goods and ideas. They would become more innovative, and that society would progress more. There would even be happier government officials that don't get so easily offended by one another, and would be able to come to conclusions faster and become more efficient in their decision-making process. If many individuals did more service for those around them, then the entire society would soon begin to help other people and other populations around them until the whole world became a happy place. When all is said and done, if we want to have peace in our lives and in the lives of those around us, we first need to start by being positive. If we want to ever achieve a society of complete harmony, then we will all need to begin by being positive with ourselves and then with those around us. Let us say what we want to happen in our world by first thinking positively about everything and everyone around us.